position and you have a chance to change the cycle in families' lives, some of it educationally. First college graduate ever in their family, their children, he couldn't be a doctor, but his children can be a doctor and a lawyer now, right? My grandparents came through Ellis Island. My parents are high school educated. I'm the first college educated in my family. My daughter's gonna be a doctor. I couldn't be a doctor. We had all laborers in our family. How could I be a doctor? Doctor, no, I did not want to go, ever. To the dentist, the doctor, I wouldn't know what a lawyer would have done. But my daughters have that opportunity. How about cycles of poverty? The history of their family. They've been on welfare or in poverty. I have a chance to change that. How about fatherless families? The cycle has been that way their entire history of their family. So when people say to me, well, is it about winning championships? I'd like to, but when I'm done, if I say to you, you know what, I was fortunate enough to be involved in a position, in a profession, where I could change 70, 80 families' lives, their cycle. You tell me. I mean, yeah, I'd like to win another 5 national titles, but not at the expense of that. If we won a national title and not one of my players were drafted, I'd be happy for the program, but I'd be disappointed. I want them all to get drafted. Why should we only benefit? Big bonus, me and the schools, everything. Why shouldn't those guys benefit? Well, we need them back to win more games. What? So when you ask me that, I would tell you that hopefully I learned from what he did, but I'm not changing who I am and how I approach this. This is about these kids. It's not about me. And if I can stay on that point, you know what I say? If you do right by them, they drag you where you want to go. You know how hard it is to drag people where you want them to go? Isn't it torture? Why doesn't this guy understand? He's driving me crazy. Well, how about, my gosh, this guy's unbelievable. Well, he knows you care about him. He knows you're working for him, so now he's dragging you, and you know what you find out? Man, life becomes easier. It's an easier road. Yes?
Do you recruit based on the talent of the player or a player that will fit your program better?
When I was at Massachusetts in Memphis, I had to take the best players I could find, who were the best people that I could find, but usually they had a kink in the armor, who were the best students I could find, and usually they had a kink in the armor. Now, we graduated 75% of our players both at Memphis and Massachusetts. So we graduated our kids, but they had kinks. If they didn't have kinks, would they have come to Memphis or Massachusetts? No, they'd have gone to Duke, North Carolina, UCLA, Kansas, Kentucky. Now, we just turned down 2 top 10 players. 2. My opinion, you wouldn't know who they were, so I can say they're whack jobs. I don't need to do that, okay? I want them to go to Duke or North Carolina, so they have to deal with that whack job. And I don't have to. You know what I'm saying? And then I'll look over there like, you're dealing with the whack job. Don't tell me you're not. I know that kid. So the one thing I'll tell you that I will not compromise, if I walk in a home and a young man is disrespectful to his mother or grandmother, I'm out. I will walk out. I walked out of a home visit in 5 minutes. Kid walks in disrespectful to his mom. How is he ever going to respect me or anyone if he doesn't respect his mother? What? I'm out. Then I'm on my staff. Why would you didn't do your homework to bring me in this kind of home? So we are the next level of that. I try to recruit a kid I like, and you're going to think I'm nuts, and then have him recruit the rest of the class. Are you amazed that, do you look at my team and say, how does he get freshmen to do this? Do you do that? How many of you don't even watch basketball? Because some of you are like looking at me like, I don't even know what the hell this guy's talking about. What happens is I take young players that are freshmen and sophomores that they say there's no way they can win. This guy's doing this wrong. They won't go to class. Well, they get all A's and B's, and they win all the games, and they all get graduated, and they all are drafted. I want to recruit you and you. Now, who else do you want? Who do you want us to recruit? Help us. And then I have them go recruit the other guys. That's how we get 5 guys. Don't tell anybody. Take that off that camera. And now what happens is they all like each other coming in because they recruited each other. And now I don't have to deal with he say, she say, crap. I don't like him. No, you're all coming in together. So that's basically how I've been able to do this. Guys get drafted, another group comes in, they all like each other, they want to play with each other, they want to be on the same team, which means they'll sacrifice for each other. It's a great question, though. Yes?
You're one of the great college coaches, but when you think about the difference between coaching college and pros, is it just as obvious as
This is the greatest question. When you hear this, you're going to go nuts. Did you all hear what he said? What's the difference? You're a great college coach. You got fired by the Nets. Okay, he didn't say that, but that's what he was insinuating. So tell me what the difference is between coaching college and pro. Would you like to know? Because I've done both. Okay? In college, you're teaching life skills. You're teaching someone's child. You're not using someone's child. This is your son. My job is to help him come from wherever he is to a young man, a man mature enough to go on and lead a life and do well, along with doing the basketball. Sometimes, I'm from Pittsburgh. Do you know what a jagoff is? Anybody from Pittsburgh here? Okay, jagoff is jerk. You're a jagoff. You're a jerk, okay? Well, we coach jagoffs. So I got a kid that's a jagoff. I first of all start counseling him aggressively. Then I really counsel him aggressively. Then I throw him out of a practice. He's a jagoff. You're out of practice. Go home. Figure it out. Then I sit him out of games. And then I throw him off the team. Don't say hello when it's time to say goodbye. You're out. Now you got that same jagoff. He's in the NBA now. And you're the coach of the NBA team that has that jagoff. You start him. And get him 20 shots a game, and you promote him in the media so you can trade him. I'm not trying to rehab you, my man. You are who you are. You're out next. But when I went to it was funny. When I went to the Nets, I threw a guy out of practice, and they looked at me like, are you nuts? You never throw a guy out of practice. You can't trade this guy. Now they know he's an ass. I mean, what are you doing? I thought, man, you're right. Why did I do that? Yes.
So yesterday on ESPN there was an article how LSU just recruited an 8th grader signed. How early does this start?
I don't. When I took the job, the guy before me had signed 3 9th graders, and I called them all. We're not doing this. We'll evaluate you, but just not right. And here's why they do it. They have to get a kid early because if he becomes a junior, they're not beating me on him. So let's get him as a junior or an 8th grader, 9th grader. And if he doesn't turn out to be a player, what do? We don't want you anymore. I refuse to do that because now I'm not being honest with your family and I tell all those kids, I can't tell you as a 9th grader. I just coached a 16-year-old on the Dominican Republic national team, and I told him, you know what, you're not good enough. I hope you know that. And I told his parents, just coach him or just love him, don't coach him. But he should learn from this experience. He's not good enough. He's really good, but he's not good enough. Don't look at this as though you've made it. You haven't made anything yet. And I think what happens for us right now, everybody wants a scholarship offer from Kentucky so they can say what? Kentucky offered me. So kids will call me and say, are you offering me a scholarship? Are you coming? So you're telling me right now you will commit to us. Well, I'm not ready to do that. Well, I'm not ready to offer you. How about that? And the crazy thing is I can do that because I'm at Kentucky. But if you know, it's a little different deal. Right now, I'm having to sign 5 players every year. It's never had to be done before. Everybody keeps saying, he's had the number one recruiting class every year. I got to bring in 5 guys a year. You're going to have the number one recruiting class. You have no choice. The other guy never lost one player. He's recruiting 1 player. I'm signing 5. So I don't do it. Some guys do it. That's why they do it. I like Johnny.
No, it was actually football.
It was football?
LSU football.
That's worse. Could you imagine an 8th grader? How are you going to know how big he's going to be, how good he's going to be, how fast he's going to be? How about this one? Is he going to be academically eligible? We do it, but we shouldn't.
Well, just a quick question in regards to Olympics starts tonight. Is there any chance U.S. doesn't win the gold? I mean, they got to go out there and execute. What do you think?
Well, here's what you don't understand. How many NBA players on Spain? 7. How many NBA players on France? I don't know if they're all playing. I think there's 8. Lithuania, we almost went to the Olympics. We'd have got beat by 100 every game. I had the Dominican Republic national team. We'd have gotten smashed. But I think that they have a chance, but I think they'll win. I think they're still way more talented, but the other teams are good.
Is Jabari Parker as good as they say he is?
There's no media here, so I can talk to you about it. Yeah, he's really good. Now, again, he's from Chicago. Derrick Rose, I recruited from Chicago. Number 1 pick, Rookie of the Year, All-Star, League MVP. Anthony Davis, Chicago, number 1 pick, and I think that he's from Chicago. And he hadn't committed to me yet, so I had no idea. I'm like, what in the world is he thinking about? Yes.
What are you doing to make these kids men and teach them about real life, real society, giving back to the community?
It's a great question. I have a money talk with these kids. Part of what I do is they watch me, and I try to be involved in the community, in charitable things. When there was the Haiti disaster, within 3 days, we did a telethon with our team and raised $1.5 million. Then I went down there to make sure where was the money going and how they were using it. But I want them to understand.
Did they go with you?
No. And after I got down there, I'm glad they did not. That's another story. That Haiti's a disaster, but everything else. Spiritually, I do not try to force my spirituality on any player. It's not my job. But they see what I'm about spiritually. They see it. If you like it, don't like it, but they see how I am to my wife, my child. My son is 15. No one in my gym bounces a basketball when I'm talking. No one except my son. We're practicing, and you got to understand, if anybody don't come in there with a phone, or my son walks in, he was 12, 13, 11, he'd knock over the ball rack, and I wouldn't say, are you talking over there? Him? Good shot, kid, okay. He'd be whistling to me. And you know what I tell my team? You can like it or dislike it, it's my boy. But anybody else talking in here while we're practicing, you got a problem. So the money talk I give them is, put your first $1 million away. Don't touch it and forget about it. Put it away. In 7 years, it should double. Do you know what having $1 million is? No. That means you're going to bring in 70 to 100,000, depending on what you put it into, a year, without ever touching that. Could you live on 70 or 100 if you're just dead to the earth and bottomed out? Is that a bad number, or is that too high?
It's a little low.
Is it a little low?
Play to the crowd, coach.
You're in New York.
But then I said, what if you had $2 million after 7 years and never touched the other, and you got $2 million? How much do you have to live on and never touch it? Put the first $1 million away. Don't buy 3 cars, different colors, the same car. Don't buy the watch. It was funny. Derrick Rose is the greatest guy ever. I'm at the table with him in the green room. He has a bling. You got to understand, this kid is the most down to earth. a bling watch that would like, and he did, and he saw that I looked at it, and he looked at me and said, "Coach, I'm so sorry. I had to do it. It's the only thing I did." He felt bad that he bought a bling watch because I had the business talk with him, the money talk. And I tell those guys, live close to the vest until you put that away, and then, you know, if you get your second contract, you're going to be taking care of your family, your family's family, and your family's family. If you get the if you don't, you can live. You don't have to. So that's what I do. Now don't know if it's right, but that's the approach I take. Yes.
This year's Olympic basketball team versus the Dream Team. Is there?
I don't know. They're bringing that up. I don't know. Kobe brought that up. I don't know. Kobe may be one of those guys that wants the pressure, and he likes it, and he wanted to bring it to him. I don't know. But that other team was good. This team is good. I know this. The competition now is 5 times better than the competition back then. It's not close. I'm telling you, France and Spain have 7 pros. They got NBA players, and the rest of them play in Europe and make $10 million a year. I mean, it's not, the gap is not there, but it's still, you know, it's a good thing. Yes. This year's what?
Kentucky team.
I'll probably start, this will surprise you, I'll probably start 3 freshmen. Have another freshman coming off the bench. And then we'll probably play a sophomore, and I have a senior that came from Wright State, had a year to play, and asked to come with us, and I said, fine. Name's Julius Mays. He's going to be pretty good, but he's going to be our 7th man. So, I'm at Kentucky. The expectations are to win every game by 20. I told the story. You have to understand, at our place, 25,000 come to every game. 9,000 stay for the radio show. So I walk out on the court 30 minutes after the game, not 5 minutes. 30 minutes after the game, I walk out. There's 9,000 still waiting to hear my words of wisdom. So they're nuts, but it's fun. I mean, would you want it any other way? Would you want to have 400 come to your game, or have no one even care about your program? I mean, it's a fun deal. The best thing is, it's a stage for the players that I coach. We call it the Kentucky effect. They get a better shoe contract, they get a better draft position, they get better marketing dollars because they played at Kentucky because of that stage and that Kentucky effect. And if that's the other thing that goes along with it, we'll ride it.
We got one more question, Pog. And Coach has to catch a flight to Toronto, and he wants to beat the weather. Yeah.
After you go 40-0, then what?
Next.
Let me just tell you one of the things. I coached the Dominican Republic team, and I made a statement: if we get to the Olympics, I'm retiring because there's nothing more I can do. And we played Nigeria. We were up 16-8, and if we won the game, we were going to the Olympics. But I would tell you that, again, it took me 20 years to get a job like this. You know, people will talk about you need to go to the NBA. Why? What kind of effect can I have in the NBA compared to what I have now on people? You're going to have to tell me what it is. Well, all the I mean, look, I'm not saying I'd never do it, but the last time I did it with the Nets, and I'll leave you with this story. Joe Taub is who hired me. Joe Taub is a great guy, okay? We're down in Florida, and I point to him, and I said, there's the guy that fired me. I was with some of my coaching friends, and he came over. He said, I never fired you. I hired you. And this guy made me a wealthy guy. Here's what he said I did for the Nets. We were offered $85 million. In 2 years, he got us to the playoffs, started filling our building, and we sold that club for $155 million. He made me rich. I said, yeah, and I got fired. Made you rich, and I got fired. What are you talking? I almost didn't recover from that. My point being, I will never do it again to make someone else wealthy. But if someone would want to win a championship and that could be used for something great stuff, yeah, I may consider it. But I'm at Kentucky. I have a great job, great opportunity, so it's been fun. All right, let me just say this. This was a pleasure to be here. I wasn't going to do this. They kept coming at me. You got to do this. I'm in the middle of recruiting. I'm in Orlando, on my way to Toronto. We'll get you here. You got to stop. You got to do this. You know what? I had a ball doing it. I really did. I'm glad I did.
Round of applause, Coach Calipari.
And as we're walking out, we were just talking. If you want, some of you guys are athletes in here. We have a fantasy experience in September. We have an alumni weekend. We have all our players come back. It's a fantasy experience. You go to my website, look on it. If you want to come down and have some fun, we're doing things at my house. You're playing, you're put on teams, you're coached by our staff and former players and other guys. And the championship game is played before the alumni game. There'll be 25,000 people in the building. Now, the greatest thing, all these guys that act like they're players in an empty gym, I want to see you make a shot with 25,000 in there. You think that's easy. But if you guys want to be involved with that, you're more than welcome. I really appreciate it.
Round of
Thanks,
applause,
guys.
Coach Calipari. And also the information for his